Imagine living next to a dangerous killer, the quiet man who smiles at you in the grocery store, blending into the crowd, unnoticed. This isn't a horror movie, it's real life. A man who walked among us, hiding his monstrous nature behind an unassuming face. He didn't just kill, he took his crimes to unimaginable depths. This is the story of Jeffrey Dahmer, the serial killer who shocked the world. To understand the killer, we must go back to the beginning. Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer was born on May 21, 1960, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, but he spent most of his childhood in Bath Township, Ohio. On the surface, he was just another boy from a quiet neighborhood. But behind closed doors, his world was far from normal. His father, Lionel Dahmer, was a chemist, intelligent but often absent. His mother, Joyce Dahmer, suffered from severe depression and mental illness, making her emotionally unstable and unpredictable. The house was filled with tension. Jeffrey was often left alone, ignored, invisible. And when a child is deprived of love, they seek connection elsewhere. At an early age, Dahmer became obsessed with death. He collected roadkill, dissected small animals, and stored jars of bones in his backyard. To him, this wasn't just curiosity, it was a dark obsession. By his early teens, Dahmer was drinking heavily, bringing bottles of vodka to school, hiding his growing darkness behind a wall of alcohol. His classmates thought he was just a weird loner. They had no idea he was battling disturbing urges he couldn't control. On June 18, 1978, everything changed. At just 18 years old, Jeffrey Dahmer took his first life. His first victim was Stephen Hicks, a 19-year-old hitchhiker on his way to a concert. Dahmer lured him home, promising beer and conversation. They drank, they talked, but when Hicks decided to leave, Dahmer panicked. He couldn't let him go. The thought of being abandoned was unbearable. With a 10-pound dumbbell, Dahmer struck Hicks over the head, then strangled him to death. But killing wasn't enough. He dismembered the body, dissolved parts in acid, and scattered the bones in his backyard. There was no turning back. The monster had awakened. For nearly a decade, Dahmer stayed silent. But in 1987, his hunger for murder returned, stronger than ever. Over the next 4 years, he would kill 16 more men in increasingly horrific ways. His method was terrifyingly simple. He lured men into his apartment with the promise of money, drinks, or photography, then drugged them, strangled them, and kept their remains. But killing alone wasn't enough. Dahmer wanted control. He started experimenting with chemical lobotomies, drilling holes into his victims' skulls and pouring acid inside, attempting to create a living zombie. None survived his twisted experiments. Dahmer's apartment became a house of horrors. The smell of decay was overwhelming, but no one acted. It wasn't until July 22, 1991, that his reign of terror came to an end. His intended victim that night, Tracy Edwards, managed to escape. When police entered the apartment, they made a discovery that would haunt them forever. Severed heads stored in the fridge, a 55-gallon drum filled with decomposing body parts, human skulls arranged like trophies, Polaroid photos of mutilated corpses. It was a serial killer's twisted museum of death. Jeffrey Dahmer was sentenced to 16 life terms, a total of 941 years in prison. But justice came in a different form. On November 28, 1994, fellow inmate Christopher Scarver attacked Dahmer in the prison gym. With a metal bar, he bludgeoned him to death. A brutal end for a brutal man. Even in death, Jeffrey Dahmer's story continues to haunt us. His crimes force us to ask questions we may not want to answer. Are monsters born, or are they created? Thank you for watching Twisted Minds. Subscribe for more true crime stories that reveal the darkest corners of human nature.